The woman never expected that without the heroine as her human amplifier, her perfect image as a noble lady would completely fall apart, and she would become worthless. But the heroine, who had been bullied by her for over a decade, though she had no magic power, possessed a sacred power far more superior than magic, and so much of it that it constantly overflowed from her body. She had only been riding on her sister's coattails, which greatly boosted her own holy magic. That was the only reason she qualified to become a saint. Now, relying on herself alone, she could not even purify a single vat of sewage. She finally confirmed that her suspicion was correct. Her magic power was declining. The endless disasters, plagues and calamities in the country were all because the heroine had left. Meanwhile, the heroine was taking her second magic test. All she had to do was place her hand on the magical device. If she had magic power, the book would display text. If not, it would remain blank. But the moment her hand touched the artifact, a blinding light burst out. Yet strangely enough, the book still showed nothing. Teo refused to believe it and wanted to run the test again. But the Pope appeared and said there was no need. He could confirm the heroine had no magic, but possessed the same sacred power as him. If the Pope's power was like a small stream, then hers was like a waterfall, and it was constantly spilling out, causing the heroine to unconsciously affect everything around her. This power had three main effects: healing disease, restoring life to the land, or purifying pollution. Her homeland had flourished in the past, all thanks to her power. And the third ability was amplification. Flora might be wicked, but she was no fool. She figured out she had been benefiting from the heroine's amplifying power all along, and it was never her own talent, which her proud nature absolutely could not accept. The Archbishop pressured her to come clean, promising that if she confessed honestly, she would pass the saint test and maintain her perfect image going forward. So the two of them hit it off. Birds of a feather flocked together like partners in crime and made a deal. The Pope believed that with the heroine's power, perhaps the first prince could be saved. Teo remained cautious and thought they should keep this quiet. Sacred power was already incredibly rare, and one this powerful was even more so. Other nations would definitely take notice. Later, a jewelry merchant brought in several overpriced gems. The heroine looked at the pink stone on the far left, which matched her sister's eye color. Seeing that, she said she didn't want the pink one. That night, Edward came to apologize, asking if he had upset her during the day, and if she disliked her sister. If possible, he wanted to know why, and to become the person who understood her best. Edward comforted her, saying that would never happen again. He promised to protect her no matter what, so she didn't have to hold back anymore. If she wanted to cry, then she should just let it out. At that moment, they held each other tightly, wishing they had met each other much sooner. When the Emperor and Empress heard the news, they were thrilled that their daughter-in-law was so amazing. It was like double happiness. She volunteered to try treating the first prince, but that required delicate work, so the heroine needed special training first to master control over her sacred power, and it only took her 2.5 days to gain enough control to make Deadwood bloom. As long as she cured the first prince, the empire would have no more factional infighting. The first prince had been raised to be the next emperor from childhood, until a magic allergy that should have healed when he was young only grew worse with age, and the nobles became divided over who the heir should be, which deeply frustrated Edward. During that time, only Edward's letters were his salvation, and so he remained trapped in the Diamond Palace for many years. The Empress brought up something important. The emperor would make a decision this year on who the successor would be. The first prince reacted calmly. He had always known this day would come. After all, Trump could run the country through tweets, but he could not rule the empire forever from the Diamond Palace.